Toy Story 5 is coming out on July 19th, and I've made this video for you guys to be prepared because you won't believe that there are over 30 hidden details in just the trailers alone. And these details reveal a lot of juicy stuff. From how the trailer hints us about Toy Story 6 to the tragic dark past of one of the toys, and how we're going to over 30 hidden details in just the trailers alone. And these details reveal a lot of juicy stuff. From how the trailer hints us about Toy Story 6 to the tragic dark past of one of the toys, and how we're going to see Andy again in this movie. I know you guys want to see that one, oh boy. And don't you go anywhere, because at the end, we'll reveal how an old villain might return in this movie. Lotso, maybe. Now, the first thing we notice in the trailer is how Bonnie's toys aren't actually attending a wedding, and nobody is really getting poisoned. It's just Bonnie playing pretend with her toys. Something we saw Andy do back in a previous Toy Story movie as well. Except in that one, he had a more aggressive story, with Mr. Potato Head being a bad guy and Woody and Buzz having to stop him. It really says a lot about how different children's imaginations are given their gender. Now, do you notice how the toys take on a more two-dimensional animation style during this scene? Well, this might be Pixar trying to get a piece of that 2.5D animation that made movies like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and Into the Spider-Verse very successful. But this change in art style was intentional. You see, Bonnie is younger than Andy when she got his toys, so her imagination would be stronger. And this sharp change in the art style represents this. I wonder if we'll get to see more scenes like this one. Uh-oh, something tells me that Bonnie's parents might be a little upset with her. Are you seeing the amount of toilet paper this little girl is using? From a veil for Forky to wedding decorations on the basket, Bonnie will be the single leading cause of paper scarcity since COVID. Now, playtime is over because we see Bonnie unbox her new gift, which happens to be a piece of technology, a tablet named LilyPad. Now, here's what you might not notice. From the way her eyes light on, you can tell that perhaps it's her first piece of technology she's owning. When you give it a second thought, it actually is, because it's hard to imagine her owning anything else. Now, do you know why this scene feels so nostalgic? It's because this is the same way that Buzz Lightyear was introduced in the first Toy Story movie, as a wrapped present that's eagerly opened by a child. And as you can imagine, there is no world where a child gets something new and whatever it is doesn't turn into their most favorite thing. I mean, we saw what happened in the first Toy Story movie. Buzz made Woody lose his place, and now there's something that's making everybody lose their place. But we have more to discuss about her gift being a LilyPad tablet. Isn't it just funny how Rex blurts this out? It's a really clever joke since he's a dinosaur, and right now the toys are facing a threat to their existence. This is something that Rex's real-life cousins know a thing or two about. You can always count on the green dinosaur for a good laugh. And why is Ham walking away? Well, we get to learn the truth about this subtle action. But before I reveal it to you, we really just have to take some time to appreciate how this movie is so relevant given the year. A robot vacuum is something that's become more common than not in most homes now. Now, from the way it bumps into Bonnie, this tells us a lot of things. Firstly, Bonnie is locked in on that tablet. The vacuum cleaner literally bumps into her, and she does move a little, but her eyes remain glued to her screen. And to be honest, Bonnie is all of us in this scene. Remember when you were playing a game on console or device, and you completely shut the world out? Well, it looks like that's what Bonnie is doing here. Now, we can also tell that Bonnie spent a lot of time on her pad. Do you know how long you have to be on the floor for one of the vacuum machines to meet you? And let's not even talk about how it seems that Bonnie was on her tablet as soon as she woke up. Damn, this girl might have a problem. But what really confirms that Bonnie has been on her pad a little too long is what we hear her dad tell her. You know how parents monitor their kids' screen time? But something tells me it might be a little too late for Bonnie. Hold on a minute.
That can't be Bonnie's dad talking about screen time when he's on his phone like that. It's hard to make out what he's doing on his phone, but it seems pretty important. I guess Bonnie isn't the only person in her house that's addicted to her screen. Oh, and by the way, did you catch Jess and Bullseye were just on the chair looking helplessly as Bonnie ignored them to play on her pad? I'd really hate to be a toy in this movie. Speaking of toys we hate, did you catch that reference of Sunnyside Daycare? Just have a look right above Bonnie's bed. We can see the frames hanging. Each of them contains a drawing of a rainbow. That's right, there's only one place in the Toy Story world that is associated with rainbows. That's right, Sunnyside Daycare from Toy Story 3. Sheesh, what a name, after that whole fiasco with Lotso. There was nothing sunny about that daycare. If you know, you know. Now, if you pay attention to when Jess is confronting Lily, can you see where it happens? It's taking place on Bonnie's bed. This pays homage to the first Toy Story movie. Woody was doing the exact same thing, but it was Andy's bed. Gosh, toys really like to pick the coolest places to throw a fit. And this time, Jess is with Bullseye. You may think that the lily pad is outmatched, but trust me, she's not. Now, from the trailer, we assume that Lily had her way. I mean, we catch a glimpse of the toys in what looks like a garage. And the fact that they are in a box makes you feel like this really might be the end of the road. But from the way Slick is by the door, it seems like somebody might be coming to get them. Andy, perhaps? But there's no sight of him anywhere in this trailer. Yes, that's true, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be here. You see, by Bonnie's window, we can literally see the letter A here. Now, there's no toy character that has a name that starts with this letter. Half of Bonnie's name is made up of vowels, but there's no letter A in there. But do you know whose name starts with the letter A and is a big part of Toy Story? That's right, our main man, Andy, the human where this Toy Story started from. Now, there's another hint of Andy's presence in this movie. Do you see how the blackboard here has clouds? Now, if we go back all the way to the first Toy Story movie, we can recall that the wallpaper in Andy's room also had clouds. I know Pixar is way too smart to tease Andy's return and not have him here, but the question is, what is Andy doing in this movie? Well, he's out of college and has a kid on the way. Now, if Bonnie decides to sell or give away her toys, it would be a full circle moment for Andy to be right there to take them back home, and for these toys to be part of Andy Jr.'s life. But as good as this sounds, let's go back quickly to the biggest threat of a villain this franchise has ever seen. It's a little bit creepy when the lily pad says she's always listening. It just shows what a sophisticated piece of technology she is. But let's be honest, she's powerless without the internet.
糖分會令我老得快 Sugar, why not? 用 Nivea Q10 抗糖
The internet. But here's the thing. Lily just revealed her entire plan with this one sentence. She's been gathering information on the toys. She's very much aware of the damage she's causing, making Bonnie spend so much time on her that she doesn't even want to play with her toys anymore. But this really just makes Lilypad a jerk. Bonnie already loves playing with her, and she's slowly forgetting her toys anyway. So what's the point? Does she just want to rub it in their faces? And if that's the case, then she might be worse than Lotso. After this, we get a very brief scene where all of Bonnie's friends have a tablet. And if you look very closely, they aren't all the same. This one's blue and this one's orange, while this one looks like it took inspiration from a ladybug. So apparently, each tablet is different. Now, from the look on Bonnie's face, she seems to be sad that she can't fit in with her peers anymore, simply because she still plays with her toys. It was at this moment that Jess realized they were in trouble. Now, here's the thing, right? This scene here lets you know that the lily pad was not a birthday gift. Bonnie's parents got it for her because it was going to be useful to her. I mean, the tablet literally lets her do anything. Now, study time and playtime seem to mean almost the same thing. And you can't help but feel sad for the toys because unless they're teaching Bonnie French or helping her with her science homework, they are not dethroning the lily pad anytime soon. Now, in the next scene, we see that Bonnie low-key gets accepted by her friends now just because she also has a tablet. But this is also a heartbreaking scene. As much as the kids are playing around each other, they aren't playing together. Nobody is interacting with one another. It's literally every child with their own tablet. By the way, we know that this movie takes place in summer for two reasons. Well, there is no sight of school anywhere, and Jess does say it out loud. And if you couldn't think of a more obvious reason, this movie is coming out just before summer anyway. Let's rewind a bit right here. I know this appears very briefly on the screen, but if you pause at just the right time, you can see a page that says Ribbit. Now, on this page, we see information about the ocean. Now, the information here isn't random. This is actually the same ocean as the one from Finding
Finding Nemo. Specifically, that scene where Marlin and Dory aren't getting along well. Is this Pixar's way of trying to tell us that they are gearing up for another movie that takes place in Nemo's world? Oh, and in case you didn't catch it, the ribbit is a nod to the popular search site Reddit. This was such a clever way to do things, because that's the sound frogs make, and Lily here is called a lily pad and shaped like a frog. But it looks like before then we might get Frozen 3, because tell me why there's a screen with information about snow. But did you catch those little snowman emojis at the bottom? Would Olaf be getting a solo movie instead? It's too early to tell, but either way, Pixar shouldn't be playing mind games like that. Don't get our hopes up too high. When Jess feels troubled and doesn't really know how to deal with the problem, she turns to the only person she feels can truly help, Woody. Now we see them using a walkie-talkie, which is really cute, because that's really the only time these toys can say that technology has done something good for them. Now Jess talking to Woody over the radio kind of makes us remember how in the first Toy Story movie, Woody and the other toys were using walkie-talkie toy radios to talk to each other. To be exact, in Toy Story, some of the toys go out to check out if Andy has any new toys. Now back then, Andy had these green soldiers, but we don't catch them here. Seriously? Bonnie isn't even a tomboy, so there's no room for any military-looking toys in her collection. Now this is when we get our first look at our favorite sheriff cowboy, Woody. In the last movie, he decided to join Bo Peep and the other abandoned toys, and it looks here like he's helping find other lost toys. And when Woody is climbing a tree, we can catch a look at Bo Peep and Duke Kaboom. Now a top being caught in a tree? Yep, that sounds like something a toy would do. We've literally seen Woody do this before, but hey, not everybody's a cowboy to get it right. But judging from the way this toy is stuck to the kite, it is very possible that someone tried to pull off a Sid and try to terrorize the toys. Could that possibly mean he will return? Or we'll come across a new kid just as terrible and mean? Now when Woody shows up, he's definitely not wearing a dress, and it's not really a poncho either. He says it is, but it's really not. It's just a red handkerchief with a paisley design that he styled that way. A handkerchief would seem like a cape or a coat to anybody that's just a few inches tall, and it kind of matches his new lone wolf persona. But the biggest reveal about him comes when he takes off his hat. Oh no, that's not Woody. That's Baldy. Woody has a bald spot now. And to be honest, we shouldn't be surprised that he does. He's been through a lot for a toy. I mean, the first Toy Story movie literally came out in 1995. That is literally over 30 years ago. And Tom Hanks, the legend responsible for the voice of Woody, has changed a considerable lot since then. Just look at him when the first Toy Story movie came out and look at him now. However, unlike Tom Hanks, Woody can just get a paint job done, just like Slicky said. Never thought I'd be saying this, but I kinda miss Al Wiggins now. He would have patched Woody up in no time. You know how they say where there's smoke, there's fire? Well, where you'll find Woody, you'll always find a Buzz. Buzz reveals himself by coming out from under the bed with his laser out. This is a nod to how Buzz first used his lasers like a weapon when Andy unboxed him. 3 decades later, and some things never change, now do they? Do you notice how Woody doesn't have his sheriff star anymore? Well, if you remember, in Toy Story 4, Bonnie's favorite toy was Jess, so she gave her the sheriff star. And throughout this trailer, we see her with it.
開到呢一畫，劃分咗我嘅不同經歷，仲劃分你不同嘅免疫。
See her with it. Poor Woody. He's been relegated to second place movie after movie. Even with a new owner, he's never the favorite. But hold on a minute. Jess isn't the only person with a star. Apparently Buzz Lightyear also has one. But it's just one of those star stickers that Bonnie has a lot of. Now pay attention to this scene here. Woody distracts Buzz and snatches a star. This looks very similar to something we've seen before, doesn't it?
Don't worry, you're not experiencing deja vu. Remember in the first Toy Story movie when Woody is messing around with Buzz? He shouts aliens, and the gullible Space Ranger actually turns around like there's a real threat around them. Classic Woody move. Now, look at this part where Lily is addressing the toys from the drawer while the rest of the toys are on the ground. It's kind of symbolic of not just how superior Lily feels, but it also emphasizes how Bonnie feels about her new toy and her old ones. And did you catch that jab Lily threw at Woody? She even doubled down by saying this.
Stuffalo Bill.
Stuffalo Bill.
I guess when you have the internet at your disposal. And she literally called Woody a toy from another century. And the crazy part is that she's not wrong. Woody first appeared on our screens in the mid-90s. So Lily was just being honest, if anything. Now, if you pause it right here, you'll see that Lily actually runs on AIOS software. We can tell by the traffic light icons on the corner of the windows. Now, this looks like a glitch because we see a line of a bunch of codes.
Now, we can't really make out what it's saying, but from this part here, we can see the name Ladybug. Now, this is pretty funny because one of the kids in the trailer has a tablet that's shaped like a ladybug. And we do know that this is also a fan favorite character from another Pixar movie. Could it be that Lily is trying to share information about traditional toys, trying to revolt against the new tech ones with her other tablets? Well, that would be plausible considering that this green piece of tech has one goal in mind. And that would be to make sure that Bonnie gets rid of them and only plays with her. When he says that she sees and hears